Hi, I'm Kippi from KippiAtHome.com. Welcome to my home and welcome to my channel. So glad y'all are joining me tonight as we craft up a beautiful bow. It's elegant and so easy, no special tools, a pair of scissors and a zip tie and ribbon, and we've got a gorgeous, gorgeous bow. You can add it to all kinds of decor packages. Wouldn't that be gorgeous on a package? All right, let's get started. All right, to make our gorgeous double ribbon bow, I'm going to start out with 2 pieces of ribbon, and they're the same width. They're 2.5 inches wide, and they're both wired, and I'm going to treat them as one. So I kind of put them on top of each other, and then as I'm making all my loops, I just treat them as one piece of ribbon. Before I begin making my bow, I'm just going to use my scissors and trim off my ends to make sure that they are even. And I'm going to start by making a center loop. Now we're going to make the loops on either side. Now they're going to be a little bit bigger, of course, and I just kind of determine how big I want my bow, and then of course the loops will be that size. And you can either make all the loops on either side the same size, or you can make them progressively larger. And I usually just use 1 finger width wider. So I'm going to just mirror out and just do the same thing on the right as I've done on the left, and I will repeat the process, and I will have what I'd call double, because these are double. There's 2 pieces of ribbon treated as one, so I will have 4 double loops on each side with a smaller center loop. Don't worry about that the ribbons are black and white on one side and red and white on the other. We will manage that in just a moment. So we're going to get all these together and get our last loops on either side. All right, here's another little tip. I'm just showing you that center where I started has a tail where we trimmed it off in the very beginning. I want to make sure that that tail goes across where I'd say the center of that loop is, because when I go to pinch it in the center and hold it all together, I want to make sure that I have that secured. So now I'm going to make my tails, and my tails are going to be an enormous loop, and I'm going to also want them to cross the center. So when I grab all of that pinched together in the center, it's going to be secure. I'm going to kind of measure that tail to make sure it's going to be long enough. You can always trim it. I certainly don't want to waste ribbon, but then I certainly want it to be long enough as well. So I'm once again making sure that I've crossed the center with that both ends of my cut ribbon. And then I'm going to place a zip tie through the middle. And at this point, you can decide if you would like to put a pipe cleaner or a piece of wire through the back of it to have that on there to help you adhere or attach the ribbon to your wreath or Christmas tree. All right, this is my favorite part, and of course that's the fluffing of the bow. I can just use my wire snips to cut that zip tie off from the middle, but before I get it all completely tied down as tight as it can go, I'm going to make sure that I have those ends in the center, and I'm using just folding it in half to determine where the center is. Make sure my zip tie is really in the center. And once I'm happy with that, we'll start fluffing. After I had that zip tie pulled down as tight as I can get it, then I can go back and nip off all of those ends of the ribbon. I certainly don't want those to be seen, so you do it in both cut ends of the ribbon. That would be from the center loop, and then you can also go to the tail where that piece is and cut everything, trim it right down to the quick. Okay, now we're going to fluff, and of course you remember that we have red and white and black and white, so we want them to kind of go opposite ways. So we'll kind of see, we don't want all of them to be black and white on one side and red and white on the other, or maybe you do like that and that's what you want to do. And in that case, that's fine too, but I'm going to go every other one, I'm going to do the opposite way. This has turned out to be a gorgeous bow. If you like making bows or want some ideas for some other inspiration for other bows, I can put those links in the description below. Next, I want to find the center of my tails. And I'm just going to pull it together and fold it, just eyeballing it. And I want to make those little chevrons, if you will, at the bottom. So I'm going to fold them in half and then in half again. And that will help me to make a little chevron. So just take my scissors and cut the little shape out. and it will release them, and then I will have 4 tails. All right, this gorgeous bow makes a wonderful Christmas tree topper. However, when I do that, I make the loops bigger and I make the tails much longer, and I make 2 of these bows, and I wire one on one side of the tree and I wire the other one, and I kind of just put them back to back or bottom to bottom so we get a bigger bow. For the sake of demonstration, I'm going to attach this bow using a pipe cleaner or a chenille stem to a wreath that I made earlier, and it's one of those loopy wire wreaths. Very simple. Or you could use a piece of wire. This style of bow is one of the easiest types to attach because that smaller middle loop, you can just run that piece of wire or your pipe cleaner through the middle of that and out through the back, and then attach it to your wreath. Oh, that was so much fun making that pretty bow. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And if you enjoyed this bow, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, ring the bell, and I will see you soon.